Good morning. Oh, we're a little choppy today, aren't we? Internet's bit slow. All right, let's see what it's like on here. Okay. Welcome. Good morning. I'm assuming you can see and hear everything well. Streaming has been a bit slow, so we'll see how we go. We will see how we go. All right, so we are live. Oh, what a day we had yesterday. So those of you that don't know where you are, you're on Holistic Mystic or Cynthia On Demand. Today I've called it Healing On Demand or Self-Healing, because we're going to be going into a little bit of what we did yesterday. Hey, Lisa. I want to just go over that. So it'd be awesome if you can give your feedback. Those of you that were with us yesterday on the Inner Circle Mastermind aspect of the Holistic Mystic. It was so good. What do I mean by that? So my name's Cynthia Harrison. I'm a mystic, medicine woman, metaphysician, and you know, I take you from where you are to where you want to be. So what is that for you? What is that for you today? And yesterday, if you missed it, you can go back and have a look. We're talking about, the vibrancy of your colors. If you were born, and you're born with a full spectrum or a full box of crayons. There's a little crayon box. You're born with a full box of crayons. Yeah. All the vibrancy. And as you grow, you start to drop them, lose them, break them, wear them out. They melt. They get taken off you for not listening. And all sorts of things, yeah? And so wherever that crayon is, even if it's melted into the carpet from leaving it in front of the window on a hot summer's day in West Australia or somewhere really hot like that, which would happen with my kids. So we then had a craft box where all the craft stuff would be in a plastic container somewhere in the house. Where you are to where you want to be. Coming back to your full capacity, your full spectrum of color, right? So yesterday we touched on some things, and it was so profound. And so I don't know if those that were there felt this or even realized what we did. So I'm going to touch in on some points so that those that are interested and want to go deeper can. So many of the people that follow me already know how to scan their own information or get their own information because they've been through intuitive studies program or trance channeling or something like that with me. Or maybe they've done another modality. There's lots of different ways to get your own personal information. Now, if you don't know how and you want to know how, come on to the Holistic Mystic Mastermind. It's $30 a month. The full programs can be thousands of dollars. So if you want to know or ask me any question about your health and wellness, come on to either these lives, or after the first half hour or so, we go into the private Zoom room where we do deeper work, more profound work, where that, even if you're asking me really personal stuff, you do it in the private chat so only I can see it. And then I can still talk to that without saying what it is or giving your information away. So, and if you want fully private, then schedule a call with me and we can do a one-to-one or a consultation where I can see what's going on with whatever your challenge is, whatever your fears are, whatever's, restricting you from becoming, your full potential and connection, an intimate connection with yourself so that you can get all your own information. So if you'd like to do that, wherever you're watching from, scroll and look for Holistic, Mystic, Mastermind. It's an inner circle. And it's free for the first 2 days. So you get access to the portal. So you can go in and have a look, but you can also show up on these. So go and have a look or don't. That's fine. But, if you hear yourself complaining about, no one's listening, or you're not getting the answers, or you wish you had this, that, or the other, then you can't complain about that anymore, because I've just given you an outlet where you can actually get your answers. So on that note, now that we know we cannot complain about not being heard, because I'm here and I'm listening. So what are you feeling not heard about? What are you feeling lost around? What are you feeling that you're not able to see clearly on? Put in the chat or share it with me, or come on and do it privately. So yesterday, let me review. So we were looking at a system that is a very simple ancient system where you can identify a fear, a challenge. What else do you name your fears? Problems, people that are on you, or your frustrations, your triggers, your trauma. They're all fears. They produce a sensation in your body. So we were identifying through the sensation in the body, where is it? And it was interesting because after class, I was talking to somebody about this, and they said, oh, we feel it in certain places. And I said, well, actually, everybody's different. And some people might feel it in their head or their neck. It's not always in the torso. You might feel it in your big toe, right? You might feel it in your foot, your knee, the pelvis, your back. Doesn't matter. Wherever you feel it is the information specifically for you. So it doesn't matter what other people are going to tell you. How do you feel it? I'm never going to tell you. I'm asking you. So I'm guiding you, tapping in, connecting intimately with a situation, an experience, a memory, a trigger, a person, something you want to change or shift, whatever that piece is, whatever that frame of the movie is, whatever that dot of data is. And then you're listening with your whole self. You're listening with your whole self. If you don't know what that means, come and learn. Practice with us. Once we have that sensation, we were meeting it. We were connecting with it. And because I use that language, I was intrigued to know, do people know what that means? What does it mean to meet a sensation? Right? What does it mean to you? If I'm to say, meet the sensation, put in the chat. What could that mean to you? Now, the thing is, it's not necessarily a right or wrong, because what you or how you make meaning of that is your meaning. So once I have an idea, oh, okay, that's the meaning for you, then I can understand whether you're going to know what I'm talking about. Are we speaking the same language, right? I'm just trying to get all the chats up. Let's see if I did it. All right, I'm just going to try something because I just got the Restream chat up. I just want to see. So I think now, wherever you make a comment in any of the chats, I can see them on the one screen. So I'm just going to say hi. Hey there. All right. So now I've got the chat up. Awesome. So we were, there you go, you can see in the chat. So we were touching in to the sensation, meeting it. And what we were doing, we're using a breath. And what was interesting about the breath is that it's an expansion contraction. It was a specific way of meeting with intention, with consciousness, the sensation in the body, which is the fear. So you can do that in meditation. You can do that sitting in grace. You can do that doing all sorts of techniques. What I've been sharing with people is how you can connect with a fear, connect with a sensation that comes from the trigger or the experience or past experience, beliefs and conditioning patterns, how you connect with that while you're walking down the street, while you're in conversation with somebody, while you're making love, while you're on a live, while you're, tending to your children, while you're in the school or university or college, while you're speaking to your boss or a government official, while you've been pulled over by the police because you were speeding or something. What, right? Yes, we can sit in grace. Yes, we can meditate. Yes, we can do all of these wonderful activations and meditations. Can you bring that into your everyday life? Can you expand, or not even expand, but be all you are? To remember all the circles, all the models I've drawn over the weeks. And if you've just come on, just imagine that essential self, the who you are, is that center circle. And nothing can touch that. You are clear. There's nothing to clean. There's nothing to purge. There's no thing. You are. You are. You're all those frequencies. You're all the crayons. You're all the colors. You're all the circles. You're all of it in that space. But as you move through the world, that space starts to bring in some defensive strategies or some survival strategies or some ways where the fears come in and the cascade happens of, you know, hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, all the neuro chemicals. And that creates feelings, sensations, behaviors, thoughts, imagery, actions, all of that, right? But that's not who you are. That is not who you are. You're not those behaviors or those actions or those thoughts. You are within it. It's like you're within that action. So when we can become conscious in every moment, and that's a big ask, right? That's a big ask. When we can become conscious in majority of our moments, or we can become conscious in a moment. Let's start there. When we become conscious in a moment, as you speak, how are you breathing? Is your breath life-giving? When your breath is conscious, there's holy wisdom, there's Holy Spirit within it, there's prana, there's chi within the breath. When you breathe consciously, you can heal. So those of you that were with us yesterday on the Zoom live and were doing a process, the reason things were clearing with just that breath or that action was because it was conscious. You were meeting the sensation fully conscious with a contraction, with an expansion, contraction, breath. So simple. Scanning, everybody scanning, cross-referencing, who's getting what information, doing the connection to the fear consciously. How does it feel? What's moved? What's changed? How am I now? Observe. Connect to where it is now, how it is now, how the charge or voltage has shifted from the original sensation. Go again, meet, intimately connect, consciously expand, contract, move through. Where is it? Observe. Things move and shift. You can do that. I can do it as I'm speaking to you. With practice, you can move, connect, discharge the charge, the voltage of a held, I don't want to say blocked, but it's like when the movement or the charge or the circuit can't get to completion, this is what corrupts the system. There's no flow. The circuitry is not moving and connecting each part of the system. So there has to be another way to connect that piece, hence the behavior. hence how the body will, in its intelligence, try to heal you, support you. Right? Sometimes it's by creating more charge to try to push it through, which can feel really uncomfortable, even painful. So last couple of days has been really quiet. What's going on? What's going on? Say good day. Talk to me. Who's here today? We're going to have a short day. So I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be back on. Oh, hey, Jennifer. Thanks. I'll be back on Thursday, but I'll be a little later because I have an early appointment. And tomorrow I've got to fly to another island for an interview. I have had 4 energy clearings very recently. Thank you. By somebody else or by yourself? 4 energy clearings. Yeah. Have you been into the mastermind? You should come in. You should come in because what we're doing, past trauma cleared out. It's not about clearing it out. That's the thing. It's not about, okay, clearing it out. It's about meeting it. All of it is part of you. The trauma, the experience that happened is just an experience, right? It's just an experience. It's like me speaking to you is just an experience. How your body, how you experience it in your system is the trauma. It's not the experience. See? So there's nothing. How can you move an experience out? Like, do you see what I'm saying? I was present this time and it cleared. Happened again and moved out on its own. Past trauma cleared out. Yeah. So let's change the language so it's clearer. I get what you mean. I'm using this as a teaching point, so I hope you don't mind. Because while we're blaming or projecting or putting what happens to us internally onto someone else, it disempowers us, right? It disempowers us. Because then to heal it, do we need that person or that thing or that, right? To mend a relationship doesn't necessarily need the other person because it's what's going on within us, how we have layered or laid down the memory, right? The multiple memory isn't one thing. There's levels and different aspects and different parts of the brain and the nervous system that are responsible for different parts of memory. And this is why trauma is trauma or complex trauma, PTSD or PTSD, complex trauma, right? It's relational. I still call it relational trauma because it's about another intimate connection or disconnection and how we feel about that, how we layer it and process it and integrate it within ourselves. So when we start saying, you know, if that person just did this, that, or the other, I would be fine. Well, yes and no, right? It's complex trauma, right? Yes and no. Let me read these chats. So this is why what we did yesterday in the Zoom room is so profound. And I'm not, I don't, well, I think I don't talk, you know what, because it's like the healing that we saw. So I'm just going to tell you, and then we need to move over to the Zoom link. But while you're here and you're interacting, so you interact with me, and I will pour into you. I will pour into you. If there's a relationship here on these free lives, I will give you all that I can. With that, just saying that. There are some things that I can't because I'll get cut off, right? Because there are only certain things, particular types of healing and whatnot, Facebook and YouTube and all that, they cut you off, right? So there's only so much here, but what I can, I will feed you in that way. Not like I have the power. No, I will show you. I will teach you to fish. Right? So the ladies that were on yesterday, some of them aren't here, but the ones that are, if you do, did I teach you to fish yesterday? Did you learn how to feed yourself, aka heal in real time, in the moment, right? There was things happening that were very unusual, right? People that are very skilled at scanning and getting information we're getting zero straight away. I'm like, your system is closing you off. I call it drawing up the drawbridge, because when there's a lot of stress, look at your life, what happened the last few days. It will be in your body, or what's about to happen, the anticipation of something. Feel it in your body, meet it in your body. And I showed you how to do that. And when we did that, so I scanned their particular energy, wrote it down, let them know. They scanned their energy before I did that, and then crossed it over so we could cross-reference in case, what if I'm wrong one day? I could be wrong. There could be a day that I'm wrong. I'm incorrect. I'm open to being incorrect. Okay? So we do that. Cross-reference. I'm open to being incorrect. Right? You got to be open to that too. And when you are, it's bizarre and beautiful and magnificent. When you're open to being incorrect, then you won't be. Why? Because you're not worried about whether you are or aren't. It's gone. Your fear is not there in the same way. There's no charge on it. So your information isn't corrupted. You're the instrument. That's it. And as long as you look after your instrument and you understand how it works to some degree, you let it play. You let it play its music. And so as we were scanning, and some people weren't getting information, and I'm saying it like this so that I'm trying to use an example, a teaching point without bringing up other people's information, right? So that's why it might sound a bit cryptic. But so if you are scanning your system, if I've taught you how to do your meridians, for instance, and everything's fine, everything's saying it's perfect, nothing's out of alignment, and you feel or you're experiencing something going on and you're like, well, that doesn't add up, it's more likely than not that this sort of thing's happening to you. So this is what we were able to identify and give this person a technique to be able to move through it, which was regardless of where or what meridians were doing or what the elements were doing or what she could and couldn't scan, she could heal herself. And as she started to heal herself, she was able to get a little bit more information. And then she did it again, and she was able to, all her systems cleared. And if all her systems cleared, well, not all, the ones we scanned, right, which is a whole bunch, but there's a load of, there's as many energetic systems as the spheres behind me, right? As she did that, we all did it. And I went back around and scanned for them. They cleared. And I said, don't believe me. Don't believe me. I don't care. Believe me, don't believe me, right? I do not care if you believe me or not. Believe yourself. Go and scan yourself. If you don't know how to scan, come and I'll teach you. Come and I'll teach you. Or I'll remind you, because if you've been in any of my classes, you probably already have learned, but you may be rusty if you haven't been practicing. And we can practice. Now, the reason that I'm saying about the scanning, that's not the ultimate. What we want to ultimately do is be able to sit in grace. But if you're sitting in grace and this is all still happening, it means you're not sitting in grace. Do you hear me? See your face? Yeah. I'm not telling you off. I'm trying to, right? Subtle energy. It's subtle. Ultimately, we are working towards being able to be in the fear in our body, the sensation in our body from something that's happened yesterday, today, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. It doesn't matter. Whatever the experience was, there is a remembrance of it in your field, in your human. Where is it? Contact it. We do the technique, expansion, contraction. If you want to know what that is, come to the Holistic Mystic. We're going to do it today. So Rebel, we're going to do that today. So it's awesome. And not sure who else is going to come over. But how that happened. So the person was saying she's sitting every day in grace. And this is happening. And I'm saying, then you're not sitting in grace. Does that make sense? Probably not. We can pull that out, what I'm meaning. There is a skill, there is a practice. Yes, practice doing it. But when I say sitting in grace, I'm not saying meditate. I'm not saying ask for healing. I'm not saying want or need something. Throw that out the window, people. Throw it out the window. Because if you're going and if you're sitting with yourself to connect with the self, to connect with the beloved, all that is, and you're swimming in that ocean of love and mercy, if you're wanting or needing anything, then you're not sitting in grace. Yeah? This is why I taught what I did yesterday in the inner circle. Because you sit, please still sit, because you're practicing. But when things don't seem to be happening for you, it's because you're not still enough in the waters. It's like you're in the ocean and you're worried about drowning. Or you're in the ocean, you think there's going to be a shark. Or you're in the ocean and there's, what are they called? Men of war, jellyfish. You to be in the ocean, right? And whatever happens, happens. If that person lives, beautiful. If they die, beautiful. It's not up to you or me who is to go now or tomorrow. It's not. So what we do is we sit in that all that there is, and we become all that there is, and we are that. We are it into our life. That takes a lot of practice, a lot of stillness. So this is why we did the practice yesterday, where you can connect and do these micro connections that are an expansion contraction. And it was shifting energy like that. And know that when you can bring that into, you're sitting in all the fear. So you're sitting in the world, the earth, right? Earth, fear, heaven, love. And you are connecting the bridge between heaven and earth. That's where you're sitting. So that they are then just one. There is no heaven and there is no earth. There is no love or fear of love or fear of fear. There's just love and fear, but they're together. And that may be a little abstract for some. So ask questions or contemplate that and come back on Thursday and ask questions. Or write in under the video, and I'll go and have a look, and I can look at, okay, well, what are people getting and what are they not, or what's coming up for them, and I can then answer your questions. This is profound work. I cannot tell you. I wish, so the person that I'm referencing, she's not, I don't know if she's here today. I don't think she's here today. But I will be checking in to see what else happened. But there's another lady that I'm thinking about as well, because they were shifting in seconds their own stuff. I wasn't doing it for them. Right? I wasn't doing it for them. I won't leave you hanging. I won't leave you hanging, meaning, well, this is the key. So if they're somebody's asking, so will it hold for them? I don't know unless they come back and I can check, or they can check. So if you were on the call yesterday and you had those shifts, can you scan yourself and see whether it held, or did you through the evening, and give us some feedback, right? Even if it didn't hold, if they continued to do it, building new habits, building new patterns of behavior. So it's so simple that you're doing it anyway, but when you do it consciously, all you got to do is bring the consciousness to it. Because when you're not bringing the consciousness to it, it's a projection of your fear rather than a meeting of your fear. So here we are just projectile vomiting all of our fears into the world. And we're not even aware of it because they might be gentle. Did you know, so I'm going to share this just to finish this, and we'll go because I've actually got a call straight after. So that Yoda, do you know Yoda? Yeah. So what are your ideas of Yoda? Do you have any ideas of Yoda, like what he represents, or whether he's seen as good or evil, or love or fear, or fear of love, whether he's helpful or a hindrance, whether he's something to aspire to or not aspire to? Um, it's neither here or there, really. But let me just check this chat. So Yoda has said, right, he fears the dark. He fears this fear, right? He's seen as the spiritual ego. Unconditional love is beyond the spiritual ego. The purity of unconditional love is beyond the spiritual ego. So in your conscious evolution, you have the ego, then you start to work and get conscious and all the rest of it, and then you go to the next part, which is the spiritual ego, where a lot of it, you've met a lot of them. I'm sure of it, right? Where there's people that are telling you what to do rather than, and judging you for not doing this practice or not being vegan or vegetarian, or drinking milk when you're like really angry at you for or you're a meat eater, but you don't eat organic meat or grass-fed organic meat, all these judgments. If you're judging, that's ego. So what level of ego is it? So there's a lot of spiritual teachers, a lot of spiritual people that I mean, it's very much, I had my period of full-on spiritual ego because I was healing people. I was like, I had all the city power. Like, I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, I admit I am not it. But I thought, because that's what happens. It's what happens. Because your body's doing it and you have people around you saying, oh, that was you. And I'm saying, no, that was coming through me. No, but it's coming through you. So it is you. And I'm like, oh, so I mean, right? Spiritual ego. Yoda represents the spiritual ego. There's still fear there. There's still love and fear. They haven't merged together into purity of unconditional love. So the reason I'm telling you this is because we have a way in this household, and you might be able to use it. I don't know. I hope my family, like, nothing's sacred in this house, but everything is, right? Because I share all our stuff because it's helpful. So we have Yoda, we have mini Yoda, and we now have micro Yoda. So because everything we say is a fear. Did you know that? Why would you talk otherwise? No, really think about that. It will challenge some of you. It really will, because it challenged me for a while. I'm like, but I love you. I love to. I'm like, but why do we talk? To communicate. But why do we need to communicate through talking? Why? Why do we communicate? So just think about all the different ways we communicate. Why we communicate? So that people understand us. Well, that's a fear, not being understood. To have a relationship, well, that's a fear. Oh, fear of not having a relationship. So that we can be intimate with the person. Oh, fear of not being intimate with the person. What else? Like, think about it. I don't know all off the top of my head, but I'm just giving you an example. Everything we say comes from fear. So that's why I'm bringing in the micro of the microest, Yoda. So when somebody has a conversation, so it might be, how did you sleep last night? Oh, I had a great sleep. And maybe your partner gets up through the night and you didn't hear them, but maybe you heard them at 5:30 and they woke you at 5:30. So it's like not a big deal. You still had a great sleep, right? Can you hear the fear at all yet? I'll keep going. So yes, I woke at 5:30. Maybe you got out of bed a bit louder or heavier. There's fear there. That's fear. Even if it's said in jest. There's something go, but it's so minor and micro. It's not, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying I'm just saying it's there. And so then the other person might say, oh, what do you think? What are some of the things the other person might say, you know, if they were maybe triggered that they're waking you up or being blamed for waking you up, or like, it can start so small, can't it? So I'm just using this as an example because it may be, you know, you might be able to use it in other ways. And the other person might say, oh, I don't know, what might the other person say? Something like, I can't even think of anything. Yeah, got nothing. What could the other person say? What would your partner say if you said, oh, you woke me up last night? Or I heard you, I did wake up once because I heard you go to the toilet. That's a fear, because I heard you go to the toilet, right? I heard you get up to go to the toilet. It doesn't matter how you say it. It's a projection, but it's a very micro projection. So think about conversations through the day. How many projections are coming from your direction out into the world every single day? Because even what I just said then is a micro projection. You see? So we're used to sort of seeing the big ones and when they really are coming at us. But when we can, what's this one say? But when we can start, well, I needed to go to the toilet. Or, well, you woke me yesterday, or you kept me up. You kept me up. I couldn't get to sleep because you were on your phone, or right? Baby Yoda, mini Yoda, mini Yoda, right? Mini fear, mini. Sorry, Yoda, if we're like making you fear, but if mini Yoda is a spiritual ego, meaning the fear's at that level before we go to spirit. Physical ego, spiritual ego. So Yoda, so we use it as when somebody might be going into a fear but they're not fully conscious, it's almost like a little reminder. Would you say like you know, it was Yoda, but then it was like these micro ones, because once you start, there's such refinement that you can go, oh, that's almost borderline mini micro Yoda. And the other one will go, oh yeah, okay. It's like almost like a tap out. If you keep going with that conversation, it's going to spiral, right? Oh, you did that. Yeah, but you did that. But remember last week you said, but you did, and I forgot, so I'm sorry. But oh, you always say you're sorry. But I am sorry. And the other one's, well, you got to show that you're sorry. And it goes on and right. Does it? Is that not, am I making it up? Am I making it up? I have studied the human all of my life, from like 6 years old, and formally from about 15 years old. Right? You gotta love your humans, love your humanness. Love your humanness, but let's understand her or him or it. Let's have an intimacy with it, so that when it's scared, we can connect with that sensation and heal ourselves or prevent. Prevention is better than cure, right? But you might have both going on. So continually, so when the question of if you heal something or shift something or transform it or integrate it, really it's processing and integration is what I would call healing. And you no longer feel the sensation anymore, would that be healing for you? You don't feel it emotionally, you don't feel it physiologically, you don't have a sensation of it any longer, you don't have a memory of it in the same way, or you might have a memory but it's got no charge on it. This is what we were shifting yesterday. So any questions on that? Like, I'm so excited. I was in a bit of a pain this morning because I was sort of dancing around there. Like I had a lot of energy this morning. I was like, right? Because not only because of what we did yesterday, because there was I could see how simply they were able to get what was being put down. Meaning I no longer had to do it for them. And that's the goal. Remember my goal? To work myself out of a job. Meaning that if you are all no longer projecting into, like us humans, no longer projecting into the collective and creating the world as it is, because that's how it's created. If we were all able to connect with that sensation of fear, that charge, the voltage, whether it's coming up in the moment or it's coming up from a memory of the past, we connect with it. We're able to do that mechanism that discharges the voltage so that we can utilize it in our body, which is why, Jennifer, I was saying you're not getting rid of it. You're utilizing the charge in other areas. Bring it to the kidneys if you need it. That's what I was doing yesterday. I felt a little bit tired because, I had an awesome day. And when I get tired, I'll be like, yeah, that tiredness where you got everything done. You know that it's like you're just like, man, I'm tired, but wow, I deserve my tiredness today. Do you see what I mean? Do you have those days? Tired isn't bad. Like tired is like, yeah, you did something today, right? You did something today. Now, if you're tired because your energy is depleting, because your charge is held in all of these points within your map of the body. So those of you in Relevate, we talked about the map maker and how that map is made. Do you remember? You see how it all links in? So those of you that don't know, I apologize, but if you want to be part of Relevate, you can send me a message. That's where we go really deep into this work, into the stress and trauma and how it's held in the body and releasing it, right? What if we did that? Every time we had that sensation or a sensation, meaning the nervous system's doing something to protect us, we met that charge built it through the contraction, expansion, contraction, so that it could be met and moved rather than stuck and stagnant. So that circuit, now I know why. I'm just looking at my background. Do you like it? It's one of my artworks. I made it. It was going to be one of the banners for the Psy program. But anyway, I digress. But I'm looking at it and there's circles, right? These circuitries. And within each circuit is actually, see the center tree? It's an abstraction of the tree. So every sphere has the tree. It's like a hologram. Yeah. So so when we meet that sensation consciously, we have access to the charge, to the voltage, to the energy. I don't care what you call it. And we can utilize it and take it to, I haven't taught you this yet, but maybe that's where we're going to be going, and take it to the organs that need it, or just through the whole system. I feed my organ system every day. Utilize that charge, that energy, that voltage, that electricity. We have an electrical system in the body, and we can take it to where the voltage may be depleted because those circuits aren't connecting or moving through, which means that you have this looping because it can't go full circuit, full circle, full connection. So there's a build up, a build up, a build up. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're spiraling into. That's your fear and your trauma and your experience, right? And then you're trying to get away from it because it feels so big and overwhelming, like it's going to, just engulf you. And I know that feeling because I had many traumas, and I used to draw these pictures of if I connected with it, it's just going to eat me. And so I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to even start to talk about things because I thought it felt so overwhelming that that darkness would consume me. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be at the bottom of that black hole and wanting to stay there, not even trying to get out anymore. You're just done. You're done. You've got nothing left. You're done. I know what it's like to be in those places. And maybe that's why I get to share about fear with you today. I don't know. But I've been to many of those places numerous times, some every day for a lot of years, okay? I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm telling you, there's hope. I'm telling you, there's ways out that aren't, it's like when we build the charge, it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be more pain. There might be more sensation, whether that's pain, not necessarily. There may be emotion, but as you do that, then you're meeting the emotion. We take it through the core organizers, how this process is laid down in the body, and that comes in. You work with that, you meet that. Where is it now? Meet that. Where is it now? Meet that. It's quick. It's gentle. So there is a pace to it. It's gentle. to bridge that gap from where you are to where you want to be, or where the circuit stopped to the end it needs to, right, to connect. So then that, all of that energy can then be directed consciously, if you want, to a part of the body or your relationship, your business, something you want to cause and create in the world, your loved ones, your pets. Where do you want it? To the earth, to all the creatures, to all the sentient beings, wherever you want to send that. Okay, we're going over to the mastermind now. We've gone well over time. But we'll go over there and I will take you through what I'm talking about. So you have that. I haven't put the video up from yesterday yet. I have it there ready. So I'll put today's and yesterday's up for those that were looking for what we did yesterday. So if you're interested, you know, go to the link and click on it, and it'll come up with 0, right? So come in for 2 days. So you can see what we did today, what we did yesterday, what we've done the last 3 months. If you wanted to go back and look at the resources and whatnot, see if that will serve you. $30 a month after the 2 days. If you don't want to carry on, just unsubscribe. You won't be charged. Okay. If you've got any questions, so I won't be here tomorrow because I'll be gone all day, but Thursday we'll be back. Yeah, so it's literally, you have me for $2.50. So we're going over to the mastermind now for their little session. We'll go see what's going on there. And so I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for interacting and sharing, and hopefully you've got something that can be helpful for you. If you want to know the exact protocol for that, come over to the mastermind, or you can go back and watch the replays for the mastermind inner circle. Okay. Until we meet again, may the blessings be. Much love. And those of you watching that are in the mastermind, come over to the Zoom link so we can continue there.